Viva-Getics, Soltar Solutions, and I'm here today on Focus Forward. Very excited about this show. I have two really good friends that are very, very interesting women that they're going to be bringing to this show today ideas that maybe I never thought about them before I met them. And we're going to be talking about ways that entrepreneurs can get through those blocks and really take their business to the next level using some new and maybe unusual type of technology and advancements that we have today. So I have Tracy Jo Hamilton with me today, and she is from Flourishing Inside Out. And I have Patti Brown, and she is from Twin Cities Therapy and Counseling. I knew I was going to have a problem with it. It's just too much for my little brain. So here we are today. So Tracy Jo, give me a little bit of an intro kind of about what it is that you've done and where you are in your career.
Well, that's a big question. After so many years, you have a lot of things to say. But, my company, Flourishing Inside Out, it's really a coaching company that I've been involved in for about 17 years now. And the type of coaching I do is ontological coaching, which most people's eyes cross when I say that word ontological, but most people understand the concept. It's actually looking at people where they're at and how they arrived in the place that they're at in the moment, what their worldview is. It's kind of taking the be, do, have philosophy rather than the have, do, be. Most of us go, if I have it, then I can do it, and then I can be it. But actually, really the sustainable model is really about how do I show up in the world to take the certain actions that I'm taking to create the certain results that I have in my life. And so during that process, I've been experimenting with lots of different technologies, different ways of helping people to break through some of their barriers and when they're feeling really stuck in their life or in their business or in their relationships, that sort of thing. So, yeah, and I've run across some pretty amazing things.
Well, that's great. We're going to hear all about it in a minute. So here we have Patti Brown. So Patti, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm a life coach and a marriage and family therapist. I've been in private practice. I started out as a life coach for 12 years before I got my license as a marriage and family therapist. And I really like to focus on whole wellness. As people gain the optimal wellness, they get an overall wellness, not just mental health, but physical health as well.
Okay, great. And you were the first person that I ever heard talk about equine-assisted therapy. I remember that, that was so many years ago. It was 10 years ago at least.
Yeah.
And you were already engaged in that. And when you said it to me, you had to explain to me what it was. Now everybody and their mother-in-law is doing equine-assisted therapy. So I know that you are a trendsetter in whatever it is that you're doing. I know that you're right out there, front runner in these new technologies, and that's why I wanted to have you in today. So let me ask Tracy Jo. Tracy Jo, tell me a little bit about how you're helping people these days.
Well, what I really came across a couple years ago, how things just kind of happen. I'm like, I need something more to help people, and myself included. So I stumbled into an opportunity to be introduced to a technology, the body sound chair. And it was developed by a neurologist here in the Twin Cities, actually, and it was a hobby of his for quite a while, and he realized he has developed something pretty cool. What it does is actually takes people into that theta place. It uses sound energy to do that, and then it uses vibration to wake you up in that space, so you get into a really meditative state, and then it wakes you up in the midst of that journey that you're on. And there's also a magnet that you're sitting on that works on with your energy body. So that's a lot of information, but what it really does, as you're going through this 52-minute program, it actually has you calm down enough and get out of your monkey head enough to have a really amazing experience that breaks through a lot of barriers. You can see where what's going on for you, what's stopping you, and then even better, you can find ways of actually moving forward. There's a lot of people talk about visualizations that come up. It answers questions for them. It goes inside and finds answers for you, and it makes it much easier. You can go through a program of 9 months of trying to find your answer of why or what I need to do next, and many times this moves you 2 or 3 sessions, you find your answer, and then I work with people to help them meet those goals that they have, the answers that they came up with.
So that's
taking those actions.
It's very complicated to explain it.
Yes.
When you started explaining it to me, I had no idea what you were talking about. And then I went in and I tried it, and I will tell you, this was an amazing experience. I felt so empowered and fortified and energized. And not only that, I had such clarity. I'm kind of ADD normally and high energy. That's what people tell me anyway. High energy. I know, that's a word on the street. High energy. And what it actually was able to do was to take all that energy and channel it in the direction, in a direction that was very focused and very grounded and very rational. So I loved it. So I brought Patti in. So Patti, tell us about your experience with the chair.
Well, my experience was amazing. I really believe that what happens in the chair is that you tap into your own inner wisdom. And that's where all the wisdom is. And so then working with someone like myself or Tracy Joe helps you kind of get that clarity and put a plan into effect. So I'm really excited. I have just purchased a chair, and I'm really excited to share that with the people that I work with. I've kind of gone from using the movement of horses to now the movement in the chair. It costs a lot less to feed the horse or to feed the chair than the horse.
Exactly, exactly. So tell us, like, why did you decide to purchase this chair? After you tried it just maybe twice.
It helped me get really focused on my goals and tap into my own inner wisdom and kind of that piece of authenticity, just how to bring that into my life. And as I sat in the chair, I was thinking how healing it was, and that I believe that there's an application for mental health as well as the coaching. I think it's been used pretty widely now for coaching, and I don't know as much for mental health, but I can even see how the visualizations could potentially really help someone who had been traumatized or just simply stuck in their life or depressed. It really gets you in touch with your feelings, gives you a sense of peace and calm and that clarity. And a lot of people come to therapy just because they feel stuck, and that will definitely unstick them.
Some of the experiences that I've had with clients in the last 2 years is exactly what she's talking about, but it meets you where you're at. So in saying that, I've had people who have said, I've never ever had any peace, and I don't know what that feels like inside. And then, I trust you, Tracy Joe, so I'll get in the chair, but I don't think this will work for me because I've never felt it at all in my life. And after 52 minutes coming in and seeing them in tears and going, oh my gosh, that's what that feels like. And it's like amazing to see that happen to them, but it's also the realizing that they have it within themselves. And they just had that experience and they can tap back into that even when they're not in the chair. Then I've had people who have been there who have had a lot of issues around depression and that sort of stuff and come in the chair, and part of it was that they realized they felt like they were so disconnected from everything else, and then all of a sudden that chair really moved them to a place where they felt like they were so connected with the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, but they felt so good about where they were that that feeling of depression went away. Not that it's a cure for that, but it's a start, right? That connection, that piece that was disconnecting them, they all of a sudden felt connected. That authenticity. Then I've had people be at it and be really scared about what's going on in their life and having lots of difficulty with making a decision, and it takes them for such a ride that it really scares them in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they're realizing, oh, this is where I'm at, and I'm okay. I know exactly what I need to do now. So it really depends on what's going on in people's lives in the moment, and where they want to go. As a coach, it's very easy once people have been in it for a little while and they've kind of played with it and had these experiences, then you can start really helping them to guide them in setting some intentions, having them be very, very thoughtful in what they're really wanting to create, and using the chair as a tool to help them get clarity and purpose.
So when I was in the chair, and then I brought Patti to the chair, and then yesterday or the other day, I brought another client of mine, Joe, in to have him experience the chair. And Joe's experience was quite like mine, feeling very focused, feeling very energized, feeling very secure in where he was going. But he's an entrepreneur. So I believe that this is a great application for entrepreneurs, which is the reason I brought this show to you today, because I really want entrepreneurs to look outside of that work at the desk, work, meetings, networking, this, that, the constant struggle and the constant, the tension that we experience as entrepreneurs. And I want them to look beyond that for some of these things that may be considered new age, or maybe considered, cutting edge or unusual, or whatever foo-foo nana, whatever you want to call it. But to look outside, to be able to not only experience more inner peace and happiness, but to experience more success with less effort. So I think this is the year for us to get outside of ourselves, outside of our offices, outside of that little cubicle that we've created, self-inflicted prison that entrepreneurs live in of work, to experience some of these other things that are out there. Because I think that is where our brilliance really lives. We create these things, we come up with these businesses, and then we find we're working in these businesses. Wouldn't it be a great idea to create these businesses, use technology like what we're talking about here, or other things, to then expand and grow and take that to the next level, and then very possibly have a product that they can sell, or actually sell the business, go on to the next thing. Because a lot of entrepreneurs I know they're idea people. They come up with new ideas, and they work on those new ideas, and they build that, but then they find that they're working in that all the time. And that might not be their core competency or their area where they should really be focusing. So I see these things, because I know you're working with the chair and you're working with life coaching, but you've had so many experiences that have brought you here.
Yes.
And I've only known you a short time, so I don't know all of that history. Patti, I know, has a long history of trying new things, and when those things kind of get popular, Patti's on to the next thing. But it gives people an opportunity to have new tools that they can use.
Patti and I have talked about that we both were kind of the same, that I have people who will say, well, I'm looking at what you're doing because I know that in 10 years that's what's going to, that'll be mainstream, and some of the times, and that's the fun, but sometimes it's the frustration too, because we're saying, look at this, you really need to do this, try this out, this will work for you, and they're going, I don't know, look at what yoga was, 10 years ago, chiropractic, massage, all of those things that we know now that is very beneficial to our well-being. They're they're very mainstream in the conversation, at least, and we were doing those years ago,
Yeah.
And yeah.
One of the thoughts I had when I had just gotten out of the chair is ancient wisdom meets modern technology.
Definitely.
Because it really encompasses that ancient wisdom, that taking you so deep into a meditative state, kind of meditation on steroids. It's a state that we couldn't easily achieve by ourselves, and the chair takes us there very simply.
We've had people come into the chair, they're 30 years in meditation, done it, religiously, and come out of the chair going, oh my gosh, I've never reached that state in all 30 years. This was easy. I mean, yeah, so there's a lot of things that can happen with this chair. And again, it's a tool, right? Because we want to be able to take people, for them to have this experience, these experiences, and know that there's so much more than just the desk that they sit at or the idea that they have, that they actually are able to expand more and enjoy. You know, my inner philosophy is that happy, healthy people don't hurt one another, and that's really that's the reason why I do what I do. Anything I get involved in is what will bring us to a place of being more at peace with this incredible miracle experience that we're having on Earth, and so often we don't know how to get there, or don't know anything. We make so much up, and this is just so this is a tool.
Well, I love it. I think it's brilliant. And I could see so many applications. I could see people with issues with addiction being helped with this. I could see people that are, you know, as you said, depressed and traumatized, and people with writer's block.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Imagine a writer being in that chair who's having writer block. They'll get out and be writing up a storm.
Yes.
Artists love it. Because they get, oh, this is my next painting. There you know.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, I worked on the product line while I was in there. So I figured out the whole product line, the whole positioning, marketing, the whole everything when I was doing that. So I think that as entrepreneurs, we owe it to ourselves to look outside of ourselves, to be better than we've been, to have greater ideas, bigger concepts, new things, and to dream in such a way that it's limitless. And I think that if we start using maybe some technology, maybe some ancient wisdom, maybe meditation, whatever. But let's start incorporating new things into our life. So thank you so much for being on the show today. Both of you are fabulous.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I hope you'll come back and give us an update.
Absolutely.
About new things that are going on and how you're using your chairs.
Sure.
So thank you so much for being here today with us. I hope you enjoyed the show. It's been wonderful. I've loved every minute of it. We're ending so we can go and get back in the chair. Lori Fleckhead, Soltar Solutions. Thanks for tuning into Focus Forward today.